Madden. This one is coming in from BCake612. That's how we're going to start it out. He wants to know, any thoughts on a full budget squad? So what I did was I went through to give you my top 55 items in MUT.
Top 55. That's a lot of items.
So budgets start at quarterback. That's the guy that handles the ball every snap. I got a couple notes on some of these guys and some different prices, but we can talk about it. Why I consider them budget, or why, if maybe they have a different version of a player that's more expensive, or maybe they have a specific reason that they're budget. But let's get into it. Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. He's the guy. If you want a mobile quarterback for a cheap cost, you can get him. If you want to go up to Mariota, that's your decision if you're on a bit of a looser budget. But if you're on a real tight budget, Tyrod Taylor's the guy.
Tyrod Taylor could also go to 85. Mariota, also a nice option depending on what you like. They both have a little difference. Mariota is going to give you that throw accuracy boost in the short part of the field.
If you don't want a mobile quarterback, you can use the 90 Winston that you get, or the Romo. This is supposed to be season's veteran Eli Manning. That's who I would put in the lineup. This Eli's more expensive. I think you get a lot of the same production from the season's vet. I didn't want to purchase him, but you get the point.
Zan in the chat also would agree with you. That's his main quarterback is Eli Manning.
Big time, big time. I think the best value at halfback in the game is going to be Jamal Charles. The 87 is way below 10,000 coins at the moment. Still think he just plays very, very well. You have a lot of options at halfback. Lamar Miller's, Todd Gurley's. You have Archer's. He's definitely in there as a speed backup, big time. If you need just speed to get to the edge, what I have found though is as teams improve more and more, Archer, yes, his speed is still good, but his carry becomes an issue. He coughs up the rock. So I still really like D'Angelo Williams because of his strength mixed with his elusive. And I think this road to the playoffs, Giovanni Bernard, is still at a pretty solid cost. So he's a guy with 98 agility that I like a lot. I think he's a very cost-effective option to this LaShawn McCoy, who costs, he was
an exorbitant amount.
He was down to 50, but I still think the Gio's pretty legit, and I wanted to test him some more. For a cheap trucking back, best in the game, Chris Ivory, there's no real combo of trucking and agility, so at that point, just go get the best trucker you can find. He's under 10K as well.
Also, take a look at the most feared LeGarrette Blount, also a great trucking back. It's going to give you a little more top-end speed over the Ivory.
So those are guys that I like. The reason I have Amari Cooper in the lineup, he's still very, very inexpensive for what you get with him. Plus, if you're a budget-conscious player, you should really be completing the solo challenges that are the shortened versions of them. You should go through and complete all of those, and you're going to get the Cooper out of that. So you really should have the Cooper in your lineup. If you do all those solos, he's not worth selling because he doesn't cost that much. And if you don't want to do him, he's worth buying because he doesn't cost that much because everybody's done those. So there's really no excuse not to have an Amari Cooper on your roster. At the number 2, Martavis Bryant's a little bit more. I think Michael Floyd's also a good option if you don't have the coin to go for the Bryant. But I like the Bryant. Plus, he's got an 88, which is going to keep driving down this 85 cost. Perryman's in the slot with elite speed, but if you don't want to go for him, you got John Brown with 96 speed. He's under 10K with 92 spec. 96 speed, 92 spec. Pretty remarkable ratings. The other item I like a lot is Marquise Wilson. He is very strong. He has 95 spec catch with 90 speed. He's 6'4" and can do some different things for your offense. So those are some of the guys that I like. I had initially DeAndre Hopkins in there, but he's a little bit more. Demaryius Thomas is a budget baller for me. He's also extremely inexpensive. I actually have him subbed in at the tight end position, third spot, just to get him in the lineup. But, you can get him and use him all around the field.
I'm going to roll with Larry Fitzgerald. Great spectacular catch. This is base gold Fitzgerald. Kelvin Benjamin, also absolutely love him for a spectacular catching traffic. He's a gold player. You're also going to look at guys like Alshon Jeffrey and Michael Floyd. Gold players.
Alshon, team of the week, too expensive. Gold Alshon, very good, but I want to see you guys work towards Team of the Week Alshon, but he's still a little bit
But those gold guys we just mentioned, they're going to be cheaper, little less speed than the Bryant that Farrell showed here, but they're also going to have a little higher catch and traffic, spectacular catch. So take a look at them if you're interested.
Shout out to the crew in the chat. Everybody's popping in. Captain Corey's here. Wants to see me take on Wolfman later. Seattle Bum stopping by.
10 months.
Shugs just resubbed type. He was streaming over on the EA Stream team. Big night tonight on This Week in Madden. Uncle Momo's here chatting in the chat. We got Steven the Beast getting ready to hammer down. Gary Barnidge is my tight end. I think he's still, besides a little bit of route running, the best overall strength and run block combo mixed with speed and catching traffic. He does a little bit of everything well. So when you factor that in for the budget, it makes him super valuable because he can play almost every down. Julius Thomas is in there for the route running. He also has a new version, which is going to drive down the cost of his 85. Big fan. These are the linemen that I like. I love left guard Gabe Jackson.
Gabe Jackson's real good.
He's got 2 versions, so he's not actually in this, but he's another guy I would get if I was going to really rock this thing. Defensively,
best value you're ever going to find when it comes to a budget starts with defense, always.
Always. So here's who I've got, Gibbs. I have 3 run stuffers I can put in for the 3-4 solid. Danny Shelton, most feared, very inexpensive. Look at his run stuffing stats. 96 strength, 95 block shed.
Stud.
I got Poe, he's under 10K. Dan Williams. You could also get Brandon Williams if you're into that kind of thing. Cam Jordan, he's very solid across the board. What I like about him is he's pretty inexpensive, and I'm going to sub in Aaron Lynch and Nick Perry and all my other 3-4 ends to really rush the passer when I want that. So I kind of just like Cam Jordan as budget from a sense of, like, Lynch is a budget because he has super high excel and power move. Jordan's a budget because he does a little bit of everything pretty well. And
He's
not
the hybrid
super
type.
expensive. Yeah.
Okay. Take me to your corners. I'm a little concerned what I'm seeing at corner right now.
Okay, so corners, I have Prince Amukamara,
What's he rolling at?
most feared. He can do a little bit of everything. Let me get that. He's got 91 speed with 94 man.
Okay. It's pretty
And he's pretty good across the board. Trufant, I actually used this team.
One of the best in the game.
I got aggressive caught on, and I was like, man, it's because I'm playing zone with Trufant. He must be a much better man corner. And then I looked, and I was like, man, he's got 92.
That's
so he's
why
actually
I chirped
good.
him so hard at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in the game.
Plus that 95 agility.
And he's got pretty good speed for an 86 elite.
DRC,
Still hacking it up.
he was a beast, man.
Still hacking it
He
up.
was the guy actually making plays on my defense.
Still hacking
in this
it up.
game.
The Randall's very good.
Randall's
yes.
very good. Kevin Johnson is a guy I have in here.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a sleeper that I subbed in at my 3rd strong safety.
Yep.
Peters is one of the only players with the speed in zone combo he's a super inexpensive. He's like 3,000 coins. This guy right here, very strong. Very strong item. I definitely recommend picking one up to play corner for your squad. You really kind of need to determine if you're going to go man or zone and then adapt from there. This team does a little bit of everything. You'd probably get a Talib if you wanted to play more zone. But corners are still really expensive. Like the Hayden is still 40K. The Peterson's still like 50K. Like they hold their
Stephon
value.
Gilmore, 86 over football.
What's he going for, though?
It's 25K.
Okay.
Is that too much?
No, that's close.
He really should be your number one corner.
You think he's better than Prince man coverage wise?
Yes. 92 speed, 93 man coverage, 89 zone coverage. Maybe.
So they're close.
They're
They're close, and they're actually pretty close in price. Prince is my, I would say like the peak end of my budget is 25K. I love to get players mostly for less than 10K. So those are my CBs that I've got in the lineup. Still kind of tweaking and figuring out the best part of the lineup.
What about Ruby? Isn't there what's the guy on the Bills?
Oh, the new guy? Yeah, Ronald Darby.
Darby's
So,
a guy.
I think he's going to cost, though. He's a road to the playoffs Darby.
Yeah, 23K.
23K.
94 speed. He's got 93 man, 87 zone. Okay.
Yeah.
He's up there.
So he's definitely up there. At the linebacker spot, you've got Kirksey as a budget. You've got Quan Alexander for the run game. So all-out man coverage backer, Kirksey.
Love it.
Kind of like a run-stuffing option, Quan. User, fast, Shazier. And then there's a couple different versions of Shazier, so buy accordingly. And then all-out zone coverage backer, Trevathan or Levante
Still
David.
pretty good man coverage with Trevathan.
Yeah, and he's once again, he's kind of that 20K guy where the other guys are the lower 10K. I had McPhee subbed in. McPhee, if you stack him against Joey Porter, just to stop the run, basically the same strength and same block shed.
That's really
So
interesting.
just for that role, and that's not even the good McPhee, but he's very inexpensive. You've got Barr and Clowney. Generally, you want to use one of those two. You might not want to have both on the field at the same time.
Or the Shazier.
You can adapt as you want. Same thing with Levante David.
The two money players right here, they're coming up. Lynch, Perry.
Aaron Lynch and Nick Perry, just studs for rushing the passer. Great acceleration. great QB spy, great ability to get off the edge. I really like what both of these guys bring to the table. Both have, or at least Aaron Lynch has a more expensive version, so he costs, pretty short coins for you.
A couple other guys to look out for. Telvin Smith.
I have him in the lineup before I put Levante David in. I go back and forth.
Gotcha. Telvin Smith, very good. Jaquez Smith at the end,
He can
also
play
very
for the
good.
Gregory if you can't get him.
You could bring him in because, you might not be able to make the Gregory still. I think the Jaquez Smith would be a little bit better than the Gregory. He came out a little after, so his stats a little bit better. So take a look at some of those guys as well.
And then at safety, the McCourty and the Aloka, both under 10K, so those are your options. Goldson, pretty cheap. I wouldn't overpay for him just because he might be a little bit more limited because he is a seasoned vet. Calvin Pryor is a little still expensive, but not super expensive at all. But 98 hit power. I like to have 98 hit power in there. And then Quinn, he's the most expensive player on my team. However, as I said, if you're budget conscious, you should have done the style challenges to get this Quinn. And if you do that, you shouldn't sell.
The two things I'll say about that here is you said it two things twice. You said the Cooper and then the Quinn.
Yeah.
If you're a budget conscious guy and you're playing, or lady, and you're playing the game, there's two guys that must be on your team and you can go out and get them without having to really expend too many resources, right? And it's the Cooper on offense and it's the Quinn on defense. The Cooper on offense is going to be one of the better players in general for a very long time for this whole season.
Right.
Same with Quinn. This Quinn still stacks up against some
does.
guys like Ed Reed and Sean Taylor. I mean, if you're looking for Sean Taylor to play great zone coverage for you, Sean Taylor might not be better than Quinn at that one.
If they get locked into a one-on-one battle.
Same thing with Quinn and the Dawkins. If we're looking at speed, zone coverage, and just pure coverage ability, he's just as good at Dawkins at that. Dawkins brings extra things to the table. So don't sleep on this Quinn. If you're budget conscious, you gotta go for the Quinn.
Gotta have him in your lineup. So those are my budget choices. The last guy I would sub in as my final budget spot would be this guy right here. Just because he's beautiful. I don't know which of the four we want, but I would say maybe him. Bay Allen as my last roster spot right there. As you know, the kickers we use are McManus and Way. If you need to...
Not Butler?
Who's Butler?
Drew Butler?
Oh, we should maybe
Drew
get
Dot
just,
Butler?
just so we have a third string, just so we have an emergency QB
Need a Drew Dot Butler.
case. But each of these guys has very specific roles, and then we'll start to create a team built around that. The one thing I'll say is I did use this lineup. I won a game. I definitely lost a game. And what happened in the game I lost was Tyrod Taylor, playmaker up the middle, to Perryman. Sean Taylor, I played a guy with a nasty team. Sean Taylor just broke on the ball manually, or just computerly, and just made a play.
It's kind of fun when you play with this. This is like a stacked budget team.
And then Archer, I subbed in for one quick toss, fumble 6. So the guy just sat in cover 4 all game. It was tough to beat with kind of the squad, because he had the advantage.
He had the juice.
But you can definitely still win, absolutely. And it does make me realize when people say I'm only good because I have a good team that it's like 80% true. But maybe I take this budget